Okay, so today we are going to start talking about one and two-step equations. So your objective for today is that you will be able to solve one and two-step equations. So let's start off by just talking about you kind of always do the opposite operation. So like to undo addition, you have to subtract. To undo subtraction, you have to add. Then to undo multiplication, you divide, and to undo division, you multiply. So it's always like the opposite operation. And lastly, we'll talk about how to get rid of fractions. You have to multiply by the reciprocal. So here's some examples of our ones with addition. So again, to undo addition, you have to subtract. So we have x plus 3 equals 8. We want to get this x by itself. So you always want to get the variable by itself when you're solving for an equation because we want to find out what x equals. So to undo addition, we're going to subtract 3. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we're going to subtract it from both sides. On the left side, 3 minus 3 cancels out, and we're just left with x. Bring down your equal sign. 8 minus 3 equals 5. So once your variable's all by itself, that's your answer. You can always check your work by plugging it back in. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 does equal 8. So we checked our work. Now to this problem over here, 32 equals a plus 16. So your variable could be on either side. But again, we're adding, so we have to undo this by subtracting. You must always do it from both sides. That goes away, so we have a equals 16. You could check your work. 32 equals 16 plus 16. 32 equals 32. It works. Next, we will look at subtraction. So to undo subtraction, you have to add. So here we want this p by itself. So we add 12 to both sides. It cancels out. We're left with p equals 20. 20 minus 12 equals 8. 20 minus 12 does equal 8. 8 equals 8, so it's true. Over here, again, the variable's on the right side, but we just want to get it alone, so we're going to add 11. That goes away. We're left with a equals 74. Now on to, we have some multiplication here. So to undo multiplication, you're going to divide both sides by whatever number is connected to the variable, so your coefficient. So we get y, because 11 divided by 11 is 1, so we're left with 1y, equals 44 divided by 11 is 4. Again, you could check your work. 11 times 4 equals 44. 44 does equal 44, so this is true. Over here, we have to get this m alone, so we divide by the whole negative 16. Make sure you include that sign too, because negative 16 divided by negative 16 gives us 1. And you have to do it to both sides. 64 divided by negative 16 is negative 4. Now we have division. So right here we have x divided by 5 equals 11. We want to get this x alone. So to undo your division, you multiply. So 5 over 1 times 1 over 5, they cancel out. We're left with 1x equals 11 times 5 is 55. Again, you could check your work. 55 divided by 5 does give us 11. Over here again, we want to get this n by itself, so you multiply to cancel out these negative 2's. You have to make sure to include the sign. So we get positive 150 equals n. So again, solving one-step equations, just do the opposite operation to cancel out. Now, as I talked about, we do have fractions. So to multiply by a fraction, you multiply, or to get rid of a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So a reciprocal is just flipping it. So for example, like 2 over 7, the reciprocal is 7 over 2. 5 over 4, the reciprocal is 4 over 5. So when you multiply by this reciprocal, you multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom, so we get 14 over 14, which is 1, which is why they cancel out. Again, here 5 times 4 is 20, over 4 times 5 is 20, which is 1. So for all of these, we're multiplying by the reciprocal, so you're flipping the fraction and multiplying both sides by that. So right here, 3 over 5x equals 6. Multiply by 5 over 3 on both sides. Our 3's cancel, our 5's cancel. We're left with x equals, multiply straight across the top. You can put this over 1. So 30 divided by 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10. So x equals 10. Negative 5 over 2m equals 10. Multiply by negative 2 over 5, because that would be 10 over 10. So they all cancel. So m equals times negative 2 over 5. We're going to get a negative. We put this over 1. So we get 10 times negative 2 is negative 20 over 1 times 5 is 5, and we divide them. So now we have negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4. And again, we can still check our work by plugging back in. So I'll check the work in the second one. Negative 5 over 2 times negative 4 equals 10. Again, you would put this over 1, multiply straight across the top. Negative 5 times negative 4 is 20. Straight across the bottom, 2 times 1 is 2. 20 divided by 2 does equal 10. So now we're going to move into two-step equations. So first, you're going to undo any addition or subtraction by doing the opposite operation. This gets rid of your constants, so like what's being added or subtracted on. And then your second step is to multiply or divide to get rid of your coefficients, the letter connected to your x. So first, we have 3x plus 2 equals 14. As I said, you first get rid of any addition or subtraction. So our goal is still to get this variable by itself. So I have this plus 2. To undo addition, we do subtraction. You always have to do it to both sides. That goes away. We're left with 3x equals 12. And now we want to get rid of this 3. So you can always think, how is this 3 connected to the x? By multiplication, which means we have to divide. So x equals 4. You could always plug it back in. Over here, we want to get this m by itself. So again, you start with your addition or subtraction. So to undo this subtraction, we're going to add. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0, so that goes away. We're left with negative 5m equals 20. How is this 5 connected to the m? Multiplication, so we're going to divide by negative 5. So m equals negative 4. Now some examples that have fractions. Again, you first just get rid of all addition and subtraction. So we're going to subtract 3. They go away. So 3 over 2x equals 18 minus 3 is 15. And now this is one with a fraction where we multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 2 over 3 because that will cancel those out. To multiply 15 times 2 over 3, put it over 1. So we get 15 times 2 is 30 over 3. So x equals 30 divided by 3, which is 10. Over here, get rid of your addition or subtraction first. So to get rid of the minus 2, we have to add 2. So we have m divided by negative 7 equals 10. And think about, so this is m divided by negative 7. So to undo division, we multiply by negative 7. They cancel. We're left with m equals negative 70. Lastly, we're going to look at, there is one special case where you're going to do your multiplication and division before your addition and subtraction. So right here, if the entire problem or the entire side with the variable is being divided by the division or by the number, that's when you're going to do your multiplication division before your addition and subtraction. So when it's just with the variable, you have to get rid of this addition and subtraction first. But this is the special case. We have to multiply this whole side by -3 and this 7 by -3 because we have to get rid of this denominator before we can get rid of the 11. So if we multiply both sides by -3, they cancel out on the left side, so we're left with x plus 11 equals 7 times -3 is -21. And now it just looks like a one-step equation. The 11 is being added to the x, so we undo it by subtraction. So we're going to subtract 11. That goes away, we're left with x equals -32. So make sure you come to class with any questions. We're going to go over this and practice it more in class tomorrow. And let me know if you have any questions.